How are you guys? Just another hopefully quicker video. I did a lot of rambling on the last one. Anyway, first off, notes on last time's video that I got a bit wrong. Because remember, I do these off the top of my head. I'm not sitting reading from notes or anything. I don't have a research team, so this is all just off the top of my head. So last week when I was saying Port Arthur, I meant Vladivostok. When I was talking about Lewis going at the end, I kept saying Hotchkiss, but I meant Lewis. And I think that was the only mistakes I made, which is not bad for 45 minutes of waffle. Okay, so what we're looking at here is Shenyang, not the whole city, but the Badaeng barracks here, which were the objective of the first day of attack on the 19th of September, which was the first part of Operation Nekka, the Japanese plan to annex the whole of Manchuria and establish the Manchukuo state, the state of Manchukuo. And this is the first stage. So on the morning of the 19th, the Japanese assumed control of the railway station. Now I'm saying assumed control, I can see no references to any fighting, but remember that the Kwantung Army is here to guard the Southern Manchuria railway zone. I do not think they were occupying the station full time. I think they moved to occupy the station. But as I said, no signs or writings of any fighting there. Then, one company attached demolition charges and entered the Badaeng barracks about here on the walls. Proceeded to clear out the whole buildings using grenades and small arms fire. The Badaeng barracks is shaped a little bit different on the interior to this, and I might change this. The walls and the entrance should be a little bit more ornate, but in China, what can I do? I've got to build a Great Wall. It's one of the future things. So this will do for now. I made these walls myself for another game in Shanghai. Anyway, so 3 companies leave from the railway station and attack the main gate. Now, it's not clear through accounts whether the main gate, the guards were bribed, the main gate, the guards put up resistance, or if there was a firefight. It's not clear. It just says 3 companies seized the gate and entered the Badaeng barracks. All of this starts at just before dawn from the Japanese Officers Club. In the grounds of the Japanese Officers Club's 75mm guns open up on the fortress. The wall is breached, and these teams, 3 companies, launch their assault. Upon seizure of the barracks, 1 company peeled off and seized the Liaoning, or 5 Eastern Provinces Arms Factory, the arsenal. So in a game, as I said, there were tanks present. The tanks were garaged along the rear of the wall, inside the Badaeng barracks. So for this game, I will be doing a lot of options and dice rolls to see how they do. Did they bribe their gate guards enough? It'll be decided by dice. Are the tanks of the Chinese tanks going to move up? It'll be decided by dice. Does the artillery have to knock down the gates, or is it bribed for? That's also going to be decided by dice. A few more quick things about the Northeastern Army. I'm rushing through this because I didn't intend to make a second video, but I realised I missed out a lot last time. Okay, I was talking last time about the Shenyang Type 17 LMG, and I failed to mention that this is a copy of the Type 11 Taisho LMG. I'm sure you know the one with the heavy barrel. First LMG with a purpose-built buttstock for firing from the hip. One of the few LMGs in World War II that had a bayonet fitting. The very first LMG to have magnified sights, something that won't appear in Western armies for another 40 years. Also, it's a very interesting weapon itself, the Type 17. because the Shenyang Type 17, again, there are reports of the young Marshal got it in 6.5mm from the Japs and then tried to make it into 8mm Bell. This I doubt. Also about the Taisho Type 11. You're reading a lot of books that it was 6.5mm and it took the clips from the Arisaka 6.5mm Arisaka rifle rounds. Actually, this is what it was designed to do, but after field tests, it showed there was a lot of failures and a lot of fouling of the barrel. So the Japanese military issued a proprietary round of 6.5mm Genko or Genso, depending on how you translate that, in about 1936. This was a 6.5mm round with less propellant, and the less propellant, that's less fouling of the barrel, and the Japanese kept it in service for a very long time, up until the end of the war. So in the Northeastern Army, it's called the Type 17 Shenyang. Books say it's an 8mm, but I doubt it. It's probably in 6.5 Arisaka, but it wouldn't be Genko. It would be the original rifle round. So, you know, you're talking about a not very dependable light machine gun there, even though you're talking about a light machine gun that has a lot of futuristics about it, and has also, with the buttstock, gone down a few dead-end roads, the design-wise. Taisho Type 11 is a very interesting LMG. Okay, in the courtyard of the Japanese officers' clubs, they should be 75mm mountain guns, or what you would know as regimental guns. I do have some, but they're all in different uniforms. So I just used two 75mm field guns. When we're talking about the Kwantung Army, I want you to remember that it's the scruffiest army that there ever was in Japanese service. The Kwantung Army loves to be scruffy. It revels in its slovenliness. As I said, there might be some things at the table that I change. Also, for the Northeastern Army, I only took you up to the organization of platoons and companies. The company I was talking about is 137 men. That's with the officers and aides and adjutant and assorted personnel. So that's 137 for the company in the Northeastern Army. Now hang on though. Some of you will be saying to me, "Oh, Adam, you forgot about the ZH-29 automatic rifles that were in service with the Northeastern Army." Look, they were in service with the Northeastern Army, but if you ever look at but there's no figures with them that I can think of, and I think mainly you're looking at actually a bodyguard unit. So you're looking at the young marshal's actual personal bodyguard when you see the ZH-29. Now, 136 for the company is what 137 for the company is what I said. Okay, now you might have 3 companies to a battalion, or you might have 4. The companies might also be anything up to 186 men, because the Northeastern Army is, as I said, it's spread over a wide logistic area. For the Northeastern Army, you definitely don't want to see LMGs at the section level, and most organizations, most units, you probably wouldn't even see LMGs at the platoon level. So the Northeastern Army, you want to start seeing your LMGs at the company level, and for one regiment of, it could be 4 companies or 3 companies to a battalion, you would have 4 medium machine guns as the support, and if you were lucky, 4 82mm mortars as a support of a regiment. Now, a brigade is 2 regiments, and usually a division of the Northeastern Army could be anything from 4 to 6 regiments. It would have had, as I said, 4 field guns in support, and you attach to an army of 3 divisions, and probably in the entire army there might be 16 field guns. So you're not, as I said, I would like to emphasize that there's not much support for the Chinese army. Also, what you'll notice here is something that the Japanese would be doing a lot in China. They'll be doing it. Japanese tactics were to bring their guns up as far forward as they could to give direct fire support. Then, as the Japanese forces attacked successfully, they would still be in range of artillery support as they advanced. Now, in a Western army, if you'd brought your artillery that close to the front, you'd be severely punished for it. But this is China. The Chinese do not have much in the way of artillery. You can forget also for the Chinese having much in the option of indirect fire. Very, very, very few options for that. If they have the equipment, it's usually old wiring full of in bad repair. So the Northeastern Army especially, you're looking at direct fire from your artillery support. The tanks, as I said, they were garaged at the back of the fortress. They didn't get a chance to fight, but I'm going to roll some dice and see if we can't bring them into the game. What else do I want to say about the Northeastern Army? Okay, so I've done the brigade, so I've talked about the ZH-29. So this assault on Beiyang, the seizure of Beiyang, should be looked at the first part of Operation Necker. And Operation Necker is, as I said, the Japanese occupation of Manchuria. Now, what drives Operation Necker is a political faction in Japan called the Imperial Way. Now, the Kwantung Army was regarded as a place that the Japanese government or the Japanese military would send militant officers. Oh, we're sick of you, go away to the backwaters of Manchuria and you won't bother us again. Well, this was a very big mistake on behalf of the Japanese government and the Japanese military high command, because it put all the hotheads who agreed with each other and believed in the Imperial Way under one command. So on this morning, the Kwantung Army is 6,000 strong. So the whole Kwantung Army is 6,000 strong. By the end of the month, it will be 10,000 strong. By the end of the campaign for Manchuria, it will have reached 60,000 men. And the more the Japanese government, the Kwantung Army was not an obedient army. As I said, it was rife with the Imperial Way thinking. It was a long way from Japan, and even in the invasion of Manchuria, the success of Beiyang would blackmail the Imperial government into sending more troops to support the Japanese, because just like all empires, Johnny on the spot decides what's going to be what, and then he sends a telegram back home and says, I've just conquered Beiyang for the glory of Japan. So if you don't support me, you don't love Japan. So the Imperial government sends more troops. And the Kwantung Army will get away with this for years, blackmailing the government with its victories. You know, drunk on nationalism. The Kwantung Army is not an obedient army, it's a scruffy army, it is an army that should really have been brought to heel a long time ago. But here we are on the 13th of September 1931, the Kwantung Army is about to drag Japan to its ruin. It might take 14 odd years, but it'll do it. As I said, a brigade is 2 regiments, a division could be anything from 6 regiments to 4 regiments. I've talked about the artillery support, I've talked about the Imperial Way, Operation Necker. I've talked that I might have to relay the fort because it's not dead right, and it's a night operation. I'll be using nighttime rules. I haven't actually had a test play of it because I work on call outs now and I'm constantly getting called out, so I'm just hoping I'll get something done today. So yeah, as I said, and I always say, so just remember, the Chinese soldier fought for the least with the longest, and take care.